So welcome to the video on directional movement indicator. Okay, so here is what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be a pretty long video. It's going to be all in one chunk, and be patient. Okay, so first of all, so ADX. Okay, so everybody knows ADX. All right, it's a big indicator. It's been a while since, like, I don't know, 70s. Okay, so this is J. Wells Wilder's book. Initially, this is the person who actually created ADX and came up with the ADX idea, and that's his first book. Okay, and so what I decided to do, because NinjaTrader does have ADX. Okay, and if you go inside the ADX, so here's indicators, because ADX inside has quite a few interesting indicators that actually form the ADX. Okay, and what I don't like about the ADX is that it's unidirectional. So basically, no matter if you're going short or long, excuse me, I mean up or down, it's still gonna show one sort of trend. Strength. Okay, and what I wanted to take from the ADX is the DI sort of part. Okay, and we'll go through that in a second. So I tried taking it from the NinjaTrader one, and I figured out it's just better to kind of write my own. And so here's the code. It's it's quite simple. Okay, and we're just gonna go through the math of DI and through the code as well. And so by the end of this video, you'll have some understanding on, I mean, you can grasp some concepts on how to code indicators, review them, and plus, get some cool ideas on the DI and how to build strategies around it. Okay, but overall, this whole process is basically going to be like a code review. Okay, so I'm not going to go into coding details such as C# rules and so on. Okay, so let's move on. And right now, I'm gonna just flip to the few parts that actually are required to calculate the ADX. Okay, so I mean, we're not actually interested in the ADX itself. We're actually interested in something called directional movement. Okay, and just give me a second, and I'll find it. And you can see how old this book is. All right. So here's the directional movement, right? And basically, this part of the directional movement is basically called DM, okay? And what the guy says, right, is that if you got two bars, okay, and we're only interested in this part of the move, of the price move, because this is actually the part that, is kind of, I don't know, was above the highest part of the previous bar, and same for the lowest, but for the low. Okay, so he's saying that first thing, if you want to do in order to kind of come up with this DI sort of index indicator thing, all right, and you'll see that DI in a second. Okay, is this, you got to calculate this DM. All right, so we're just gonna go through the theory, through the math first. Okay, and then I'll show you the code. Okay, so basically, let's just 1 second. Let me just grab a drawing tool. So first thing, right, is the DM. Okay, that's the first thing that we're gonna calculate. So DM is the directional movement, and basically it's just, we take two bars. Okay, I'm just gonna draw a quick example like this. And so if there's a high here and a high here, okay, we're interested in this sort of zone here. Okay, let's call it A, or actually, so this is DM plus, okay? And that's what we're interested in this movement, because this movement is actually what overtook the previous bar. So this is so we don't care what happened here, okay? Because what we're actually interested in is that the market made a move above the previous period high, and it was this much. Okay, so it would be the same and for a movement down, but it would actually take the lows. Okay, excuse me. And well, if we have something like this, okay, let's say like that, okay, then we would just take this distance and compare it to this distance, okay, and we would take basically compare these two values and take the biggest one, okay. And if we have something like this, okay, then we consider both dm plus and dm minus to be 0, okay. 0 and dm plus is also 0, okay. So that's the first sort of concept that goes into this DI indicator thing, okay. And basically the next concept, okay, is after we calculate the dm, we also need the true range, okay. So, and the true range is the distance. It's part of the ADR, okay, which is the average true range. But the true range and the calculations is is basically one of the following. So it's either the distance between today's high and today's low. So it's either this, okay, or the distance between today's high and yesterday's close. So if for some reason yesterday's close, let's say this is yesterday's close, and today's high is somewhere here, okay, then it's also this distance. Well, I know this looks smaller than this, but if this was bigger than this, then this would be the true range, okay. Sorry, okay. So basically this is and the other way around as well. So it's the biggest of the three. So this is, if this is the close, then, and this is the low, okay, this distance, okay, this is the true range, okay. So this is the true range, and what he's saying is that the DI of the current bar, okay, so then the number 3 is that directional index, or as he says, a directional indicator, right, for one day is actually dm divided by the true range, okay. That's what he says, okay. And well, it's a pretty interesting concept to sort of the way, and you can look at this also one by one. So you can look at this separately, you can look at this separately, you can look at this separately. So it's quite interesting concepts he uses, and you can kind of, you know, use part of them to construct your own indicators. But overall, I mean, we're moving towards the DI. So this is DI for 1 bar, okay, and obviously after you got it for 1 bar, you want to have it for a period, okay, and the way you have it for the period, so P is your period. So to initialize, okay, you first sum up all the DMs, okay, and divide it by the true range, well, either plus or minus, okay, so you kind of sum up DM period, TR period, so you sum them up and you divide the one by the other, and this way you get DI of period, okay. And later on, okay, so this is for the first value, okay, so this is for the first value, okay. So let's say your period is 14, so this is on the 15th bar, you'll have this first value, you have to sum them up, and finally after you have actually summed them up, by the way, this book you can download if you like from internet quite easily. I'm not sure whether I can provide it with the course, but if you like, just find it. Look for Wells-Wilner ADX and you'll find it very easily. Okay, so and to get the next value, you don't actually have to sum up this stuff, okay. What you do is you take the today's DM, excuse me, so you take the previous, okay, the previous value. So for example, DM, or let's go for the true range. So you first thing you do is you take, so let's say you are on I don't know, day 15, okay, day 15. So you would take the previous true range, which is first, for the first 14 is the sum of the true range, okay, and then you divide the previous true range by 14 and you add the current true range, and that's how you get the true range for today. So this is something called the I'm not sure what he names it. Well, basically that's what he uses. There, you can have a read in here. Okay, accumulation technique. Okay, I'm not a very good mathematician, but that's what basically that's what he does number wise. Okay, and you can also have a look at these numbers and how they add up. It's all pretty much correct in the code. Okay, so I mean this was the theory like behind the DI. Okay, this is how it finally looks on the chart. So this is the DI minus and this is the DI plus. Okay, and basically what this shows is actually like how strong is the uptrend and how strong is the downtrend. Okay, and so you can see, like, for example, right now, like the market is going down and you can see the uptrend is growing. Okay, the uptrend is growing and you can see the downtrend is falling. Okay, and at the same time here you can see the downtrend is falling and the uptrend is going up. Okay, and I mean you can use this in a pretty cool way because, well, it's a pretty cool indicator to kind of play around with, especially if you have a look at it on a daily time frame where it's just a bit more clear. Okay, excuse me. All right, and you can see how it kind of, you know, shows divergences and stuff. Like, so for example, if you have a look at this part here where we can actually see that the trend is still growing, okay, you can see how it kind of starts to fall, okay, at this stage. And well, it's an interesting concept. You can see that, like, so from here you can see it's kind of growing, and you can see that, well, here's a pushback. You can see it's still growing, and, well, you can look for divergences here as well. Okay, so let's go to the code. Okay, so the code for the indicator, so the standard amount of usings, namespace, and I've created a special class for ADX bar value. So I'm gonna collect true range, DM plus, DM minus, DI plus, DI minus, and same stuff for the same parameters, but period wise. Okay, so I only need two serious doubles for DI plus and one for DI minus, and I only have one parameter, which is the period, and I also create one private list of ADX bar value, and I call it ADX values. Okay, so on state change I only have to do two things. So in set defaults and in set configure. So in set defaults is overlays false for our panel to appear right here. Okay, the name is ADX Empire. Well, I should actually give it something else, say DI plus minus, which makes more sense. Okay, DI plus minus. Okay. Now, period. Okay, and in the state configure, clear output window and add two plots, DI plus, DI minus, and also I initialize the list. Okay, a bunch of variables here that we're gonna use, and in the on bar update. So if I'm anywhere before bar 1, so if I'm on 0, I need to return because I'm going to be looking back 1 bar all the time. Okay, so until I'm actually, if current bar is less than or equal to the period, excuse me, I only want to do this. Okay, which is I collect, basically, if you look at this workout table he's got. Okay, so before the period, so he's got period 14. So before and equal to the period, all I do is collect values and calculate true range, DM plus and DM minus. That's all I do. And in the end of that, I calculate the totals. And basically this total, well, you'll see in a second. Okay, so calculate directional movement. And what this thing does, so I have DM plus, DM minus, so this is the DM plus calculation, all right? So high 0 minus high 1. DM minus calculation, low 1 minus low 0. Okay, so the previous low minus current low. I mean, you could write math apps low 0 minus low 1, but I mean, this is just another way. Okay, so an else if they are equal, then they're both 0, and the final one is when is this one, the outside bar. For this, so this is for this one. Okay, here it is. So so if if current high is higher than previous high, and if current low is lower than previous low, then dm plus equals high 0 minus high 1, and dm minus equals, and then we actually look which one is bigger, and if dm plus is bigger than dm minus, then dm minus equals 0. If it's the other way around, then dm plus equals 0. Okay, so that's how you calculate dm. Then next step is calculate true range. Same way, so current high low, so, and we take the highest of the three. Okay, so current high low, high 0 minus low 0, high close, I take the high of the current high minus close, previous close, current low minus previous close, and I take the absolute value for that because I might get negative values. So, and then I compare which one is actually the highest. Okay, so, and well, that's pretty much it. Okay, and well, I actually don't really need this. Okay, I'm not really using it anywhere. Okay, 1 second. So let's say these things are not required. All right, sorry. So once I calculated the dm and true range, I can create my bar. ADX bar value, true range is true range, dm plus, dm minus, dm minus. So basically I go the variable way, the global way. So I create global variables here. I first calculate them, and here I assign them into my new object, and I put them in the list. Okay, now I do that for, well, period number of bars. And then when my current bar equals the period, I sum up some values. Okay, so here we go. True range for the period equals ADX sum of true range. That's only once when you reach the initialization. Okay, so that's when so say your period is 14. Okay, so on 15, you have to, on 14, the way you calculate the true range for the period is you got to sum up the true range, you got to sum up the dm plus, you got to sum up the dm minus. Okay, and obviously you can get the di at this point as well by dividing the dm plus by the true range. Okay, but we don't really need that. So this is when current bar equals period, and if current bar is larger than period, I calculate the directional movement and true range again. And then basically, this is just a shortcut to the previous value in the ADX values list. Well, not the previous value really, but it's the last value in the list. But, you know, theoretically speaking, it's a previous value, the previous bar value, okay? The previous indicator value for the bar, okay? Hope that made sense. Okay, so then I calculate the dm plus period, which is basically dm plus period minus previous value dm plus period divided by period plus dm plus. Okay, so this is the formula that's right here. Okay, excuse me. So here it is. Okay, there you go. So previous dm plus, there you go, previous dm plus of period, well, in this case 14, minus previous dm plus divided by period, previous dm plus divided by period, plus current dm plus, here dm plus, which has just been calculated using this. And same for dm minus and true range. And then I calculate the bar. So true range, all that is the same. True range period is basically these three guys, and di plus and di minus is calculated by dm plus period divided by true range period times 100. Okay, just to get out of the decimal spots. So I add it to the list. And basically, and here I assign the values of the series to run the indicator. Okay, and that's about it. 20 minutes for a code walkthrough on creating an indicator. All right, so pretty much that's it, guys. It's just like a series of quick runs through indicator codes for NinjaTrader. So hope this helps out, and take care.